Kamelot, Silverthorn. Excuse me, nation, I have to do this. Tommy Karabik of Seventh Wonder is the new singer of Kamelot, and he, of course, reduced KHANNNN! Due to an illness that he had back in 2011. So, Karabik gets the position, and they are now on SPV Records. It's a subdivision of Steamhammer. And they are here releasing their first album with this new singer. And the first indication that a lot of people had, and the very first kind of, I guess, problem, not so much problem, but question that a lot of people had is, what's it going to sound like? Is it going to sound like the Kamelot of the past? Are they really going to have that same zest and that same punch that they had with Khan, with this new singer of Seventh Wonder? And the answer is, they actually chose a singer that sounds pretty damn close to Khan. And it's to the point where I bet you if some people didn't, stay up on Kamelot, read on the internet, or, check out Wikipedia articles or know the band all that well, they may think that Khan is still in the band. They may have absolutely no real thought that it's anybody different. So that's a positive. So Silverthorn, of course, comes out this coming Tuesday. For those of you who are viewing this in the future, then it's already out, so you can pick it up. However, Silverthorn is the band's third attempt at a concept album, and the previous two have gone fairly well for them. And this is about a young girl who is tragically killed by her two brothers, and it's kind of an aristocratic family in the 19th century that showcases how they deal with it through a elaborate scheme of lies, betrayal, and basically just what happens whenever a tragedy befalls a well-to-do family that tends to try to, I guess you could say cover it up, or at least try to move on from it. Musically, this is Kamelot reaching another great apex, and this is a perfect blend of their traditional power progressive metal sound with that same symphonic element that you've heard on multiple albums before this, especially something that you heard a little bit on Poetry for the Poison, their last album. And it's also an exquisite story. It's one that really is very, very loose, but you can definitely tell musically how the whole entire album flows together as one unity. And that's really kind of one of the things that this album does and has going for it very well. It's almost resemblant of a elaborate opera on tape, or a book on tape, an opera book on tape. I'm inventing new genres of audio literature left and right here on this review already, but that's just kind of what you have to expect from an album, and a concept album, should I say, of this caliber, of this nature. It's just kind of what comes with the territory. Now, many people will wonder if this album is also able to work as well as the albums with Khan did. We all know that the Seventh Wonder vocalist is a very capable musician. If you've not listened to any of Seventh Wonder's works, definitely take the time and investigate his previous work. It is certainly very, very good work. So with him working with world-class musicians such as Kamelot, who are very well respected and well beloved within the metal community, to the point of really breaking through here in America, where I have friends who actually, know who they are. That is something where he can step up his game even further, and they definitely did. Silverthorn is a magnificent album full of resounding vocals that definitely take your breath away and kind of leave you on your seat, kind of dumbfounded, because it's just very, very beautifully laced, and there's a lot of triumphant moments, but in most cases, this is an album that is marred by the tragedy of the death, and especially in the latter end of the album. What I can resemble this album the best to is something that you rarely see in American film. In American film, traditionally, whenever you have a very, very large, depressing moment right at the conclusion of the movie, there has to be that little snippet right there at the end, where there is a hint of encouragement. That way, people that leave American theaters can leave with a symbol of hope. It's almost as though the film industry is very repulsed by the idea of people leaving a theater with just depressing feelings, either that or feelings of loneliness or feelings of sadness. It's something that you don't see as much in the European-style movies, where that idea of depression or that idea of a tremendous tragedy or loss ending the movie is more commonplace, mainly because it's exhibiting one of the most obvious facts of life. not every story has a happy ending, not every cloud has a silver lining, and not everything, every little thing does not somehow magically work out. I don't know. It's a weird idea, just like this is kind of a weird metaphor. But that's kind of what you feel whenever you listen to the end part of this record, with a track such as Prodigal Son, which is a epic 4-part conclusion. There is a track after it that's kind of just an outro. However, it's just very, very... it's focusing in on the funeral of of our departed here, and it's also focusing on just the mourning process, which is certainly something that can last a long time and can cause people to react very differently. And the music here is, of course, extremely somber. However, the vocal delivery on this song is absolutely resplendent. It's beautiful. It's something that certainly keeps your focus directly on the track. It keeps you honed in because you want to know where this goes. You want to know kind of what happens next. This is an album that, while it does feel like it has completion to it, there also feels like they could do a little bit more with it if they wanted to. I'm not saying that they are planning to. This is not another one of those part 2 potentials that I've been speaking about seemingly for the past couple of weeks. But rather, this is a story that I feel that they could almost re-examine, or this is a story that they could easily kind of transform into another one if they wanted to. Whether or not they wanted to take it to the realm of the supernatural, or if they wanted to explore the aspects post-death, if they really wanted to showcase the insanity of this family, of how this death has torn them apart just absolutely by the roots, and maybe created some sort of monster in itself. There's a lot of ways that they could expand upon this universe if they so choose. I don't believe that's going to be the case, but it's always fun to kind of speculate. Overall, this album is definitely ending October on a really, really good note, and I really enjoyed this experience. Kamelot is always one of those supremely consistent bands that you can pop on an album of theirs and you are seldomly disappointed, just because even though you kind of know going in what's coming, they always have a new trick or two. They're always going to push the limitations of your understanding of a certain subgenre of music, in this case power progressive metal, in order to make it new and interesting each and every time that you have an experience with the band. And that is why Kamelot has had the ability to break through, and it's also why Kamelot has had the ability to gain a larger audience abroad, as opposed to their large audience already in Europe. I'd give this album an 8.5 out of 10, maybe even an 8.75. Once again, everything is just kind of subject to change. I really like this album. I encourage you guys all to check this out. Silverthorn by Kamelot, coming this Tuesday, or for those of you viewing this video, coming in like 2 days. Those of you viewing this in Europe, already out. Oh, in Germany. You get the point. Get the album. It's well worth it. Definitely listen to it. CoverkillerNation recommends it. He recommends it to you, the nation. He is the cover killer. I am the cover killer. Wow.